MongoDB tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn about the introduction of MongoDB. So before starting what is MongoDB, we will try to understand what is a NoSQL database and why this came into existence when RDBMS or SQL databases were so popular. So NoSQL database is a database which is used to manage the huge set of unstructured data. When we say unstructured data is the one which cannot be stored in tabular format. That is, it is not having the fixed column and row like things. So fixed column and row like things are possible only in relational database, which is when due to these kinds of concerns wherein the data has to be inserted into a format which wherein the schema cannot be defined, so this NoSQL came into existence. So what are the issues solved by the NoSQL database? When the amount of the data is massive and it is volatile in nature. Let us try to have an example. Let us say that there is a student table in RDBMS and it has two columns, student name and roll number. So let us suppose that the requirement got changed all of a sudden, that we wanted to have some more information like the class, the section, and the subjects for which the student is enrolled. And if you are using a structured database or relational database, you will have to modify your table. And let us suppose that it keeps on changing every now and then. So to overcome this kind of issue, the NoSQL database was introduced, which can be structured to some extent. It may be semi-structured or it may be completely unstructured data. And this is really very good when you have hundreds of millions of users who are geographically separated. They are in different time zone and they are generating huge amount of data which may be structured, unstructured, or semi-structured. So NoSQL database is really a good over there. So these are the different challenges which are solved by NoSQL database. Provides better performance because of the indexing and the replication, and there are no, you don't have to refer to multiple tables. Everything is there within one collection. You have a variety of documents possible within one collection. So in later videos, we will see what is collection and document. NoSQL databases are highly scalable. They are scalable horizontally. That means you keep on adding the node, and this will be very good as compared to the normal traditional RDBMS data, which are scalable vertically. So you keep on adding the computing power, you keep on adding the storage within the same box, and oh, the best part of NoSQL database is there is no strict design. Let us assume that in a traditional RDBMS database, if I have a table with two column, and if my requirement has got changed, either I have to change the table definition or I have to create another table, then I have to reference my one table to another table. But in case of NoSQL database, there is no such restriction. So within one collection, which is like the table, you can have the rows inserted or the documents inserted with the multiple fields, and the way you wanted the data to be over there, you can have it. So let us see what is an structured data. Structured data is the one which is available in, maybe available in text file in terms of column and rows, and they can be easily converted into visualized format like your graphs. So it is known as the structured data. When we say what is an unstructured data, unstructured data is one which is like a image, video file, or a PDF or document, and there is one common thing in this unstructured data. There is nothing similar in that. That's why we say it is unstructured data, and we have to get the data out of that. And in such kind of scenario where the data is unstructured, semi-structured, or non-structured, we use NoSQL databases because we can manage them easily, which is not possible in traditional SQL databases or RDBMS databases. So these are the different types of NoSQL database. We have a document database, which is a MongoDB, which we are going to see some more portion in this tutorial. So data is stored in the form of a document which has two value. One is the field, and another is its value. Then we have something called as graph stores as well, wherein we store the network data, and we have some existing data and we can relate with that. There is something called as key value stores also, which is the simplest form of the NoSQL database. That means there will be a key and a relevant identity to that. And if you see an example, it is Redis database. So wide column stores, that is the fourth type of very popular database like Cassandra, which is used to store the large data sets. So it is going to store columns of the data together. What are the advantages of using the NoSQL database? It has a dynamic schema. That's the best part, which is not possible in traditional RDBMS, where you have a strict design. You have fixed number of columns, you have fixed data types which you have to insert. But in case of NoSQL database, there is no such restriction. You can change, or you can insert the records, which is known as documents, according to your requirement. You can have as many fields as possible, which is not possible in case of traditional database. And there is another very popular feature, which is sharding, where in the large database can be partitioned into small and faster and easily manageable databases. And this is a very good feature. And you can have the replication setup in NoSQL databases like in MongoDB, and one of the it is like master and slave kind of thing, wherein the operations is going to happen onto the primary database, and whatever what do you say, the slave databases, you can have the read operation. So it is highly available, and this is really a nice feature. So next thing is MongoDB, a NoSQL database. Yes, so MongoDB is a document-oriented database which stores the records in the form of collections. It is not going to store in form of tables. So MongoDB is written in C++ language, and almost all programming languages drivers are available, so it can be integrated with anyone. So NoSQL, it becomes a kind of what do you say, the first choice if you are developing such application where there is no fixed design and the requirements are changing very rapidly. So you can use that. Now we heard a lot what is a document-based storage. So we say like the data in case of NoSQL database is stored in the form of document. So this is a kind of JSON kind of what do you say, the structure, wherein we put in curly brackets, then we put the field name, then its value, and then if you have multiple what do you say, the fields, then we put the another field, then colon, and in double quotes we give its value and skills like that. So this is not a document, this is JSON document. And when you insert your data in NoSQL database like MongoDB, you put it in this format. It is easily readable, and you can easily put the data in this format. Now from here we are going to really start what is a MongoDB database. So we say MongoDB is a document oriented database, and it is called as NoSQL database. Why? Because of the things we have studied in previous what do you say, the slides, which says it is not having a fixed schema design. You can have it according to your requirement, and you put the data in the form of JSON. Like there will be curly bracket, then there will be a field and its value. And MongoDB is developed by MongoDB Inc. and it is licensed under the server side public license. It is the best way part of this is it is an open source NoSQL database. It is developed for high performance because of the P features it has. It is highly available because of the replication and other stuff which is there. And we store the data in MongoDB in terms of collection, which is kind of a table in RDBMS, and rows in RDBMS. Here it is known as document, and there is a kind of unique value for every document which is inserted. So document collection is analogous to RDBMS table, and rows is analogous to document. So this is a kind of comparison chart between RDBMS and Mongo database, or we can say NoSQL database. At the top, everything is stored in the database. So database and database term remain same. Either you talk about the RDBMS like Oracle, MySQL, or MS SQL. And in MongoDB, it is also known as the database. In RDBMS, the data is stored in the form of tables in terms of columns and rows, but in case of MongoDB, it is known as collections. So one database can have one or many collections. In table, in RDBMS, we say it is column. Here it is known as fields. And in case of RDBMS, it is known as rows. But here in case of MongoDB, it is known as documents. So at the top, it is MongoDB database, which has which is a database, and then a database can have you can create n number of database in MongoDB, and in one database you can have one or many collections. In one collection you can have n number of documents with the multiple fields and multiple values. So the document is stored in this format. There is a curly bracket, then you have the field and the value. If you have to insert many, this thing you can put comma, and it goes like this. It is the JSON format. So there is a separate tutorial for what is JSON and BSON, which is BSON, which is used in MongoDB. So the data which is inserted, it is in this format. You put it in curly brackets. That there are two values. One is field and another is value. And this we have already seen what is NoSQL, because in the previous slides also we have seen so many terminology. NoSQL means not only SQL, and you can see it has evolved because of the restriction and challenges with the traditional database. NoSQL databases are designed to work with large distributed data sets, which is unorganized. NoSQL databases are highly flexible. That means there is no, the best thing to describe it is a schema-less thing. So you do not have a strict design. So you can put the documents according to your requirement. It can store and process structured data, unstructured data, or semi-structured data. And most of the time it is good for big data environment where the data is generated in terabytes every minute or hour. This slide is about the characteristic of MongoDB. MongoDB is a schemaless. That means you can have a number of fields, its value. You can have different size, and inside one document you can have another. It is it is so famous because of its high performance, because of the query which you can be executed with the help of indexing uh, document, and it is highly available because of the replication technology. You have one master node and then slave nodes. You can all of them can be used, one for writing purpose and other for reading purpose. You can put indexing so that the search will be faster, and file storage is it can be stored on multiple systems so as to allow the usage of a computing system from multiple nodes. Replication is another very good thing. In the MongoDB, you have a primary node and the secondary node, which is in the terms of master and slave architecture, and it provides the distributed data across multiple machines. Sharding, there is a separate tutorial also on this, which distributes the data across multiple nodes, which are known as shards. These are the different editions available under MongoDB. So you have the MongoDB community server. So right now it is 4.4. You can have it installed on your Windows system, Linux, or Mac. You have MongoDB Enterprise Server, which are available with the commercial edition with a lot of features, and you can have the subscription. Then, if you wanted to have your MongoDB in cloud, then you can use the MongoDB Atlas, and this is really a very cool thing which has been provided. And the last, I hope this is going to help, and thanks for watching. In this tutorial, we will learn what is the difference between SQL and NoSQL. This is a kind of prerequisite before you learn MongoDB. The first thing which we are going to learn, what is a SQL. So SQL is nothing but structured query language, and this is one of the way to deal with the relational database. When I say a database in which the records are uh, arranged in the form of what do you say? We have the columns and the rows. So they are arranged in the forms of columns and the rows. If we have to fetch some data from that particular table, then we use query, and if you have to insert, we use the insert, and then correspondingly we can have the update and delete statement, which can update, delete, insert, and query the records from the database. So there are several RABMS. So some of them are MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL, Sybase, etc. And we use SQL to access the database. We'll see a small demo wherein we will query the database. What is NoSQL? So NoSQL stands for not only SQL or not SQL. That means NoSQL database is a database which has the data is either non-structured or semi-structured or unstructured, or it may be polymorphic data as compared to the SQL database, wherein the data is arranged in the forms of the table. So they are known as the relational database. When the data is not arranged, or there is no such kind of relationship, we say it is a non-relational database management system. And one of the best thing in NoSQL database is there is no defined schema. That means you can change the way the data is inserted next time, or there is no such predefined algorithm. And this is good when you have the large data store. And NoSQL is very good when you have what do you say the let me use the arrow option. Okay, so let me use okay. So NoSQL is good when it is a big data or real-time web applications. And where is the NoSQL used? It is used on the on Twitter, Facebook, or wherever the data which is generated is in terabytes every hour, or what do you say, every day. There we have to use NoSQL because the amount of the database data is not structured as compared to the structured environment. There is a key difference between relational and non-relational database. So when you say relational database, we are saying SQL database is non-relational, so it is NoSQL. So in relational database, data is stored in the form of tables. That is, it has rows and columns. But when we say non-relational database, it is document-based, like your MongoDB. You have a key value pair. In case of a relational database, if you need to increase the capacity, you have to go vertically. That means, let's say, as of now, my database, which is MySQL, it is installed in my laptop app, and if I have to scale it, what I should do is I should either increase the RAM or the CPU and the storage. But when it is no relational database, I can add what do you say, the more nodes. So that is known as horizontal scaling. So let's say as of now I have my database MongoDB installed on my laptop, so I keep on adding multiple laptops of low capacity, and this will be scalable. So vertically scalable, that means you keep on adding the hardware on the same server or same host up to which it is allowed. Horizontal, you can add more nodes, and it will increase the capacity, CPU, RAM, and everything on the defined cluster. In case of a relational database, it is predefined schema. Let's say I have a department table with the two column. One is department ID and another is department name. So tomorrow my requirement changes, and if I want one more column with the with department address, I cannot do it with relational database because I have already defined the schema, like it should have two columns with the kind of data it will use. But in case of non-relational database, if I go with the NoSQL database, it is dynamic schema. I can add multiple columns in the next record, or it is something like that. Relational database use the good hardware, which is good for the better performance because you tend to grow vertically. But in case of non-relational database, you can go with the commodity hardware. This is generic difference between SQL and NoSQL. So we'll start with what is SQL. So SQL is used for RDBMS database, relational database management system, wherein data is stored in the form of tables and there is a relation between multiple tables. But when we say NoSQL, it is known as non-relational or distributed database. That means there is no concept of rows and columns, and there is nothing like table. The name is replaced something which is known as collection. We will see later. What kind of language do we use to access the data which is there in an RDBMS table? So we use SQL query language. You can query, you can insert, update, delete. In case of NoSQL, there is no such declarative query language. So there are the way we do all the operation, but it is not simple as compared to SQL. In case of relational database, data is stored in the form of tables, but in case of NoSQL database, it is known as collection. Inside the collection, each record is known as document, where we have a key value pair. In case of relational database, there is a predefined schema. That means there is a column name and column data is defined. But in case of NoSQL, there is nothing like a static schema. That means you can define according to your requirement. It's about the scalability. Let's say tomorrow there is a requirement to scale my environment, so I have to go up. That means on my system I have to add more CPU, RAM, or the storage. But when it is NoSQL, you can go horizontally, you can add more nodes. So why RDBMS or SQL is good for? It is good when you have the complex queries, but when it is non-RDBMS, it is not good for complex query because there's nothing like joins and other things. Hierarchical data, that means uh, one data and then subdata, it is not suitable for the hierarchical data. When we talk about non-relational database, it is good for the hierarchical data. If we talk about when this SQL was originated, it originated early before the invention of NoSQL. So it was somewhere in 70s, and NoSQL came into picture in late 2000s because there was some kind of limitations with SQL database. So NoSQL came into the picture. If we talk about the licensing, SQL has both open source and commercial, and it is a mixture of both. And it is when we talk about the open source, we have some of the good databases also available like Postgre, MySQL, etc. And commercial, you have big players like Oracle, MS SQL, etc. NoSQL database, most of them stand for the open source. You use it for free. Consistency, when we talk about the SQL database or the relation database, it is strong consistency. That's why they are the market player. When we talk about non-relational database, we don't want that kind of strong consistency, like, or if there is some kind of eventual consistency like required, then there is some Cassandra is available, or if you want some kind of consistency, then MongoDB is available. There is generic difference between SQL and NoSQL further. So if we talk about why it is used for, so the relational database is used for asset wherever you need the atomicity, consistency, integrity, and for those things you need the relational database. And when we talk about NoSQL database, where availability is more important, than it is good over there. Why this is best for? So SQL database is best for the data validity. If you need the consistent data, there should not be any kind of what do you say, the diverse. I mean, you want the consistent, then you have to go with the SQL. When we want the data to be faster, then you go for the NoSQL. SQL RDBMS supports the dynamic query, but that's a problem over here. The storage requirement, you need good storage, which are high performing, but in case of NoSQL, you can go with the commodity, the cheap storage as well. So there is something called as ACID versus base model. So your relational or SQL database supports ACID model, which says atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. But in case of NoSQL, it is known as base. So it is basically available, soft state, eventually consistent. So that's the major difference between SQL and NoSQL. So in very simple words, if your data availability is more availability and accuracy, if you want more accuracy, you go with the SQL, and otherwise it is NoSQL. And there are other parameters as well. So that is what ACID and base stands for. So ACID is for your relational database. So you have atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. And your non-relational database it is like basically available, soft state, eventually consistent. So I don't want it to be very consistent. That's fine, but I want it to be more available. So you go with this. So now when to choose NoSQL? So when native RDBMS is not enough, like I have a dynamic schema requirement, then I have to go with this. When ACID property is not required, I don't want a consistent data, I want it highly available, then I can go for this. If I want a flexible schema, then you have to go with the NoSQL. Constraints and validation logics are not required, which is a must in your, or that is good to have in your relational database. Logging data from distributed sources, so this is good. You use NoSQL, so it should be used to store temporary data like shopping cart or wish list or session, wherein I don't want it to be like 100% accurate, but it should be available, highly available. When shall we choose a relational database or SQL? SQL is the easiest language to communicate with the RDBMS, so it can analyze the behavior related with the customized sessions. You can build customized dashboards. It allows you to store and get data from database quickly, preferred when you want to use multiple tables and join them. Now, the last thing in this is, so which database is right for your business? So the best way is to determine which database is right for your business is to analyze what do you want. So it is like SQL is good for any organization that will benefit from a predefined structure and schema. Let's say I want a table with the two columns that is defined, then I should go for the SQL, particularly if they require multi-row transactions. If it is happening at the row level, then it is good you go with the SQL databases. It is also a good option if all the database must be consistent without leaving room for any kind of error like the computing database. So which database is right for your business? This is a continuation for NoSQL. Where should we use it? So NoSQL is good choice for those companies experiencing the rapid growth and there is no defined schema requirement. So you can go with this. So NoSQL offers much more flexibility than a relational database, and it is a good option for those database that companies which has large what do you say, the large data which is coming on from several sources. And let me go through a small demo. It's not a kind of demo. So this is what you say. My RDBMS, sorry, the SQL database. This is MySQL Workbench, which is a GUI tool. So the data is available in the form of tables. So if I just execute it, you can see I have two columns, department number and department name. So everything is predefined, like this will be the format or this many character or strings will be available, and this is the way we work in relational database. And the same thing if we do in non-relational database, the two columns. Let's say I created a database, employees. I created table is not there is nothing like table in NoSQL database. So this is MongoDB, which is uh, non-relational or NoSQL database. So I created a collection which is equivalent to table, and then I inserted many rows. So in the first, this is known as key, and this is the value. This is the key, this is the value. That means I am creating a department number D001, D002, D003, the way I had in my relational database. Then I created three department names: marketing, finance, human resource. But if I wanted to have multiple things, like if I wanted to have location also added, then email ID or phone number also, then those things are not possible here because the schema is already defined. It is defined like you can have only two columns, but in case of NoSQL database like this, I can have anything, whatever I want. This is highly flexible, this is cheaper, and there are a lot of features. You have base model available over here. Here you have assets. So depending upon what kind of requirement you have, you can choose between no relational or relational database. So there's a MongoDB GUI tool which you can see. This is known as NoSQL Booster for MongoDB. This is a free version, and this is good to have it. So just to summarize, so we saw the difference between NoSQL and SQL database, and we saw an example of a table in SQL database and a collection in NoSQL database. I hope it is going to help, and thanks for watching. In this tutorial, we will learn what is JSON and what is its importance in MongoDB. So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it's a human readable collection of data. So it is in a text format, you can easily read it. If you save that JSON file, you have to save it with .json format, and it is a very common data format, and it has a large range of application which it supports. JSON is also language independent. There is no such data format which is restricted. So, and it was derived from JavaScript. Why JSON is used? So JSON is a text which can be converted to any object of JavaScript into JSON. It can be used with the modern programming language. It is recognized natively by JavaScript. It is supported by most of the backend technologies. It is easy to read and write and to use, and it supports all browsers, and it has a very easy syntax. So this is a great feature in this. There's a kind of JSON's history. JSON grew out of the need of a stateless real-time server to browser communication, and it was first time specified by Douglas Crockford, and it was popularized as a JSON format. Its acronym is originated at the State Software, a company which was co-founded by Crockford and others in March 2001. JSON was originally advertised and believed to be a strict subset of JavaScript. In 2013, it was published in one of the EMCA International Journal. What are the different features of the JSON? JSON is an open source and free to use tool. It is compatible with it's kind of text which is easy to read, and JSON is quite fast. It is going to consume very less memory. It is easier when you use it, and JSON library doesn't require any other library for processing. This is a syntax. So you have a round bracket, then you have a curly bracket, then you have the name value pair which are separated by commas. So it starts with curly bracket that holds the object, then there is a square bracket that holds the array. So this is a kind of example. If you save variable obj, then you have to give the key value pair. And this is the example of the object. An object should be enclosed in curly braces. So you can see here, it should be an unordered set of name or value pair. So this is the key, this is value pair. The name should be followed by colon, and you can use it in any key value name, and it can hold the arbitrary strings as well. So this is an example of JSON. You have curly bracket, then you have square brackets, and this is how it works. This is the standard how it looks, the JSON file. And how it's important when you deal with the MongoDB, how to structure your data for MongoDB. So this is an example where, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or I would say the columns, or I'll say the key. And if you say this column number 6, or key number 6, I have salary or day work. So I have kind of array kind of stuff available over here. So I have to put it into the to MongoDB JSON file. What are the challenges? So one column with many types of data types, it can be included in Mongo or MongoDB and JSON file. When you do it, you create a collection and you insert each row as a document in MongoDB. Right, this is how it works. So this is not actually possible in relational database. So how do we do it? So we use the curly brackets, then we put the key value pair like this. So this is again a kind of format which is possible. So you have square brackets where you can put in the array, which is not possible in normal RDBMS columns where the strict schema is defined. And finally, we have a small demo on this. I'll just, okay, so this is JSON, NoSQL booster for MongoDB. So what I'm going to do, so this is a JSON file. You can see the round bracket, then you have curly brackets, then this is my first key, and this is its value. So key value pair is here, then I give it comma, then another key web, and then this is value pair. So I'll just execute it. So what it is doing here, it is saying DB, which is a keyword, my collection, this is a name of the collection which we are going to create if it does not already exist, and insert one, just insert this row. So if I run this, this is going to insert it in my collection. You can see that it is inserted, right? And in similar way, we do it for rest of uh, the uh, the documents as well. And this is the JSON format. You have a round bracket, you have a curly bracket, you have key value pair which is separated by colon, then you have a comma, and this is how it works. So I hope it is going to help, and thanks for watching. Welcome to the MongoDB video tutorial. In this video tutorial, we will learn how to install MongoDB Community Edition on Linux. So I have listed all the steps that will be performed on the for the installation of MongoDB Community Edition on Linux server. So we are going to install MongoDB 4.2, and installation of 4.2 supports uh, Red Hat Linux 8, 7, and 6. In the first step, what we will do, we will create a file called as etc yum repo.d slash mongodb org 4.2 dot repo, and we will we will add these 5 lines in that repo, so that when it is going to fetch this file from the internet, it is going to fetch all the information related to MongoDB 4.2. Then we will install the MongoDB package. So we will be installing using yum install -y mongodb-org. So let's go to the shell. So this is my virtual machine having RHEL 7.5 installed, and the first thing which we will check is whether internet is enabled or not. So I'll just say ping google.com. You can see that I am able to ping the internet, and then we will say just check the etc slash red hat -release. So that will tell us what release it is. So it is release 7.5. Then in the next step, what we will do, I have already added the repo details. So it is etc slash yum dot repo.d, and then there is a file which we have created, which is uh, mongodb org 4.2.repo. So if you just open this file or view this file, you will be able to see these lines. So it is saying in square brackets, we say mongodb org 4.2, and name is MongoDB repository. Then this is the base URL, and here it is from this particular location, 4.2 MongoDB version it is going to download, and then this is GP check equal to 1, enabled equal to 1, and GP key we have given. And once it is done, so what you will say, simply just execute yum install -y mongodb-org. So this is a meta package which is going to download all the individual components. So this installation is very fast. This is not going to take more than a couple of minutes. You can see that it is going to install. It will quickly list down what all it is going to download. So it is going to download MongoDB -org Mongo. So this is a repository meta package. Then you have MongoDB shell. Then you have MongoDB server. Then you have MongoDB additional tools. And it is going to install it very fast. So it is Mongos. Then it is going to install tools. Then it is going to install the shell. Then it is a MongoDB server, which is two things. One is a Mongo daemon and the MongoDB configuration file. So it has installed all the components. So what we will do next is, so it has done one more thing. It has created a user as well. So it is if you just say etc PASSWD. So it has created a user called as MongoD. So now what you can do is you can switch to that particular user. So sudo su space minus MongoD. Now you can use sudo systemctl start MongoD. So now we are going to start the daemon or the server. Once it is started, just check the status status. So you can see that MongoDB is in running status. So, and I'm logged in as now I have switched the user to MongoDB. Once it is done, you just fire one more command, which is sudo systemctl enable MongoDB. So what it will do, if there is a server reboot, then it is going to auto start the MongoDB server as well. So it is done. Just check the status. This is done. So there are two things which you can see. One is a log file, and another is the data files where it is storing. So they will be automatically changed to MongoDB. That is the user and the group. So you can just say ls-ld slash var lib slash mongo. So you can see that it is changed to MongoDB user, and that is the group. So all the files which are owned by Mongo database should be owned by MongoDB user and the group. So once the installation is done, what we will do is we will go to the Mongo shell. So we'll just say Mongo, and it will open a Mongo shell. So Mongo is just a way to open the Mongo shell. So it is MongoDB shell version 4.2.8. So you can see that we have opened the shell, and if you wanted to fire some command just for testing, so just say show dbs, and then if you wanted to create a new database, then you just say use MyDB. So if it doesn't exist, it is going to create one. So it is switched to MyDB, and if I simply say DB, it is going to show which DB you are connected. And if I say help, it is going to show you all the help related commands. So this is basic of how do we install MongoDB on Linux system, and the version which we have installed is the community version using yum. I hope this is going to install, and I hope this is going to help, and thanks for watching. In this video tutorial, we will learn how to install MongoDB Community Edition on Windows system. So what we are going to do is we are going to download the MongoDB community server. Just search for this, download MongoDB, and you will be able to see the second link wherein, okay, let me try the first one, download MongoDB community server, MongoDB. So you can see three tabs: cloud, on-premises, and tool. Just click on on-premises and you will be able to see MongoDB community server, and we have to download this. So on the right hand side, you can see available downloads. So versions are available. The current version is 4.4. And if you are looking for some other version, you can drop down and select that. The platform is window, and we are going to just download this, and you will be able to download it within a couple of minutes. So it's a very small downloaded thing. And now I have already downloaded it, MongoDB 4.4. So I'm just going to install it using that. So this is the first screen which comes up. So just say next and accept the license agreement. Next, we'll go with the complete installation. From MongoDB 4.2, MongoDB can be installed as a service, so you don't need to start the Mongo daemon as a separate stuff. It will be started and managed by Windows services, and this is a good thing. Since this is MongoDB 4.4, it can be run as a Windows service. So just check the first one, which is the default one. It will be stored in this particular location data directory, and this is the log directory. We are not going to change this. Just say next. And if you wanted to install the GUI version of the administration tool, which is MongoDB Compass, you can check this, but this will increase the installation time. So I will uncheck this and will say next and install. This is not going to take more than a minute or so. Yep. So community supported the platform are Windows 2019, 2016, 2012 release 2 and normal version, and 2008 release 2. Uh, MongoDB can be installed only on 64-bit operating system, so you have to make sure that you consider that as well. So and from Windows 4.2, MongoDB 4.2 onwards, this can be used as the service. Just say finish and this is installed. Now what we have to do is we will go to the location where MongoDB has been installed. Just go to C drive, program files, and then MongoDB, then server 4.4 and bin. There's the location. So what we will do is just copy this location, go to command prompt and cd to this location, and we will say Mongo. You can see that uh, command has uh, worked now. So we will say show DBS. So this is MongoDB shell. So these are the three databases which are installed by default. And if I wanted to create a new database, I will just say use MyDB and it will switch to that DB. And if I say DB, you can see that I'm connected to that particular database. If you type help command on the Windows MongoDB shell, this will be available and you can use any of these. Just exit out of this, and what we will do now is we will go to this PC properties, and we will add this location of the binary to the environment variable, so that every time we execute Mongo, it should take us to the Mongo shell. So what we will do is we will search for the path, and we will add the location of, I think it's already added when I did it in the previous installation. So what happens if I simply say this should work? Mongo. So you can see that Mongo is the shell for the MongoDB, and it is working fine. So there are some messages also on the screen which says it is working, and it is MongoDB server version 4.4, and you can use the command accordingly. So this was just how to install MongoDB Community Edition on the Windows. So this is 64-bit and it is applicable only for 64-bit. I hope this is going to help, and thanks for watching. Welcome to MongoDB tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn how to create and drop database in MongoDB. So I'm directly connecting to the Linux system where MongoDB 4.2 is installed. So let me switch to MongoD user, which is OS user ID. Then I'll say sudo systemctl status MongoD. So you can see that MongoDB daemon is running and the database is up and active. So the first thing which we are going to do is we are going to connect to Mongo shell. So you can see that I'm connected to Mongo shell, and now we are going to create a database. So first of all, let's see the number of databases. So we'll say show DBS. So this will list down all the database. So in 4.2, we have admin, config, and local. If I have to create a database in MongoDB, I think it is by design that it doesn't allow you to create a database with some create kind of command. So what you have to do is, if you have to create a database, you will have to say use and the database name. Let's say my database name is MyDB. So what it will do, it will create a database with the name which you have mentioned, and it will switch to that DB and then mention DB. Now, if I say show DBs, it should show me the list of the new database as well. But if you see, it is still showing the previous databases. It is not showing me the new database which is created as MyDB. It is because in MongoDB an empty database is not listed under show DBS. So what you have to do is you have to create the collection, and then you have to insert some kind of document in that. So let's do that. So what we will do is we will create a collection. So I'll say DB, which is let us see where I'm connected. I'm connected to MyDB, so I'll say DB. This is a keyword. Then let's create a collection, my collection, and my COLLECTION, and I'm going to say insert some document in that. Just close with the round brackets, and inside that what we will do is we will use the curly brackets, start and end it, and then we will give the key value pair. Just mention name, colon, and the value of name, like this. Right, so db.mycollection.insert, start of round bracket, start of curly bracket, the key value pair, and this is a document, and this is a collection. So let's just press enter. One row is inserted. Now if I have to see how many records are already inserted in my collection, so I'll say the name of the collection dot find, and if I put the round brackets like this, I should be able to see all the records which are inserted. In MongoDB concept, we will say we have created a database. So MyDB, we have switched to that database. Then we created a collection which is called as My Collection. It is synonymous to a table in RDBMS system. And once the table is created, we are going to insert the records in the form of the collection. So this is an example of one collection. So the next thing is, so we have created a database. Now we have to drop a database. To drop a database, we do have what do we say, a command. So I'll say db dot drop database, and in round brackets I have to mention it. You can see that dropped MyDB. Okay, so you have to connect with the database, then only it is going to work. And just say show DBS. It will not show you that database which it has dropped now. So it is creation is very simple. You just say use DB, and drop is just you say db dot drop database. I think it is going to help, and thanks for watching. Hello and welcome to MongoDB tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn what is CRUD in MongoDB. So the term CRUD stands for create, read, update, and delete documents in a collection in MongoDB. So just a recap of what we have seen, the architecture of MongoDB. At the top we have a MongoDB instance. So inside the instance, so instance is nothing, just MongoDB daemon, MongoDB daemon, and the mongo.conf file. So inside the instance, we have a database. In one database, there may be one or more collections, those which are analogous to table. Inside the collection, there are one or more documents which may have same kind of field or different kind of fields. So this is our architecture. So when we say CRUD, CRUD stands for creating the document inside the collections. Read stands for reading the documents inside the collection. Then update, how do we update the documents inside a collection, and then how do we delete that in case of MongoDB. So we'll start with the create operation in a collection. So when we create or insert or let's say I wanted to create uh, a collection, then I can say DB, which is a keyword. So we have to fire these things on Mongo shell. So we say DB, which is a keyword, dot name of the collection. If the collection doesn't exist, then using this command, the collection will be created. Then dot, then insert one. That means we are going to insert one document inside this collection. So there are two things which are happening. One is the collection, if it is not existing, it will create, and if the document is not there, then it is going to insert one document. So instead of using one, we can use many in case you wanted to insert more than one document at one point of time. So insert one or insert many, they are going to create the collection if it doesn't exist, and it is going to insert the document accordingly, whether it is one or many. So how do we insert single or multiple document in MongoDB? So we have to use this on Mongo shell. So we use with the keyword DB dot then the collection name dot insert one. Then we have uh, the uh, the um, the circular um, bracket start, then we have curly brackets, and then in single quotes we give the name of the first field, then colon, then the value of that field. Then if we give more field, just we have to separate it by comma. Then we give the name of the second field, let's say it is department. Then we give its value, which is separated by colon. Then we give its value, it is IT. And then let's say it is the third field, which is salary in USD. Let's say it is 10. Then we close the curly brackets and then round brackets and then semicolon. If we have to display the content of the collection which we have just created, what we have to say is on Mongo shell DB, which is a keyword, then the dot collection name dot find, then we have the round bracket, then curly brackets, then in the single quotes we have to give the field name. Let's say the field name is employee name, then colon, its value if you wanted to display the entire content of that document. If you have to use it for multiple documents, we will be using db dot the name of the collection dot insert many. Then the only one difference is there it will be starting with the round bracket, then we'll have to put it in an array kind of thing. So we will be using the square bracket. You can see the second bracket is a square bracket, and at the end it has to be closed. And the value of one document, it is closed in this curly bracket from here to here, separated by comma. Then it is the second line, second document, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So there are seven documents which is getting inserted in employee uh, collection. Then how do we query or read the document? So to query or read the document, we say db dot collection name, then dot find, and then we give round brackets, and then in curly brackets we close it, then we give semicolon. And if you have to find it according to a particular condition, we say db dot collection name dot find, and then we started with the round bracket, we close it, and then in curly bracket we give the condition. Let's say salary in USD is it should be 10,000, it is 10, and specify conditions using query operator. Let's say I wanted to see all the employees where salary in USD is between 10 to 15, then we will say salary in USD, and we give this condition. And similarly, we give it for the AND condition also, or we can provide the OR condition. If we have to update the collection, we have db.collection.update1 or update many. So this is the syntax: db.employee.update1. We give the condition like salary in USD is 10, and then we set it salary in USD should be 10.5. Like this, it will be updated. And then when you say db dot collection name dot find, it will display you the updated value. If you have to delete the document, we simply say db.collection.delete many. It is going to delete all the document in one shot, or if you say delete one, it will be deleting one by one. The order it has got inserted, the way it will be deleted. And then in the last we will see the demo. So let's get started with the demo. Let me close it out. And everything is there on a notepad. We are going to follow this. So the first thing which we are going to do is we'll say show DBs, and we'll create one database which is MyDB. So we'll say use MyDB. So this DB will be created if it already doesn't exist. So we are switched to that. Just say DB and it will show you to which database you are connected to. Now we are going to create a collection. So let's say db.employee dot insert one. So what this will do, it will create a collection with the name employee, and it will insert the value. We'll put the round brackets like this, and then we will put the curly bracket like this, and we will close it. And now we will put the value. Let's say the first value is employee underscore name. Let's say employee underscore name. The first name is Avi. Then we say the second field is department in the same uh, document, and department name is IT. And then we are going to give the third field. The third field which we are giving is put it in salary in USD. Put the colon. Let's say it is 10. 10. It is 10,000. I'm just making it 10. And just insert it. So you can say acknowledged true, inserted ID. This is the one. So let's see how it is inserted. We will say db dot emp, which is the collection name, dot find, and if we give round brackets, you can see that this is the object ID, which is a unique ID, then employee name, department, salary in USD. We can do it like this also, wherein if you have to put some condition, let's say as of now it is one content only, or if I say employee underscore name, let's say I'm querying for Avi, so it will display. Anything other than this, let's say any other name, it is not going to display because that doesn't exist. Now what we are going to do is we are going to insert more number of rows using uh, the we will put it in a notepad and we will copy paste from there. So I'm putting it on the notepad so that it is easy to add it. Oh, let me copy it from here. So it should be copied by now. Yes. So we'll say db.emp insert one. Instead of insert one, we will say insert many, and we will put here this is square bracket, and we will close here because we have more values to feed in. This is the square bracket, and like this way we are going to insert 7 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first one we will say it is employee 1, department is IT, salary in USD is 10.1. The second one is employee 2, department IT, salary 10.2. Then this is employee 3, and this is 10.3. We are just putting some random values. Employee 4, department is let's say finance, and salary in USD is let's say 11. Then EMP5, employee 5, department is finance, and salary in USD is 11.1. And then employee 6, department is HR, salary in USD is let's say 12. And again employee 7, EMP7, department, let's say it is HR, and salary in USD is 15. Let's say it is head of HR. And there shouldn't be unnecessary spacing. I hope everything is fine. So let me, if there are some spacing problems, then also it causes issue. So db.emp.insert many, and if everything is fine, it will show you it's all great. Let me clear the screen, and we will copy from here and we will paste it. Oh, this is acknowledged true. That means it has inserted so many rows. So we will simply say db.emp.find, and this will display like there are 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows are inserted. So this is how do we do the insertion. Once the insert is done, then let's how do we read it? So the first thing which we are going to see is select all documents in a collection. So to read all the documents in a collection, we'll say db, which is a keyword, then the collection name, then the keyword find, and then we give the round brackets, and this will display everything. So this is the first thing. Then how do we say the find a particular value? So we'll say, let's say I wanted to see the who all are there in HR department. So I'll say find, and then in curly brackets we'll say uh, department colon HR. So this will show all the employees who are in department HR. Oh, there is, okay. So what this we have to give the condition. The condition is department colon HR. In here, I have not given the curly bracket. That's why it has not displayed the content. You can see that there were two there were two people in HR, so it has mentioned the details over here. Let's see the next condition, wherein we will see using some operators, let's say greater than, equal to, or less than, this kind of thing. So let us see who all are having salary greater than, let's say 11. So we will say db.emp. db is a keyword, emp is collection. Then we will say find, which is like search, and then curly brackets start. Then we will say we wanted to give the condition um, salary in USD colon. Then we will give the condition, and we give the condition like greater than. Then we give it is 11, and we have closed the curly brackets and round brackets, and that should be fine. So we have three people who are having a salary greater than 11 USD. It is not 11, it should be 11,000 USD. So let's see a condition wherein we give not greater than, let's say less than. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people. So we will say less than. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we can say equal to as well. I think it is EQ only. Anything a salary equal to 11. So we have one value. So that is fine. And so we have seen less than, greater than, equal to, and what else? Let's see the way we update the document. How do we update the document? So what we wanted to do is we wanted to update the salary of everyone who is 10, and it will be updated from 10 to 10.5. So we will say db, which is a keyword, dot uh, emp collection name dot we'll say update one. We wanted to update one entry, and we'll give the condition. Let's give the condition salary in USD, salary in USD, and the value is 10. Close it, and okay, we have to put it in Notepad, because the moment I press enter, it will go to next line, and that is like end of this one. So we will use this. So we'll say db.emp update one, salary in USD is 10. Then we have to say $set, and it will set the uh, to, let's say, 10.6. So what this is going to do, anyone or let's say it is for 15. The one who is having the salary 15, it is going to change it to 15.1. So let's find who is having that value. So db.emp.find, I'll say salary in USD, and we are looking for 15, and I haven't mentioned the curly brackets. So here should be the curly bracket, and here should be curly bracket, and the round brackets and closure. So there is one person who is having the salary greater than 15. So we are going to update it, and we are saying db.update one salary from 15 to 15.1. So it is the keyword is update one, and we have to say dot dollar set, and this will change the content of that. So now let's say 15.1, and we have only one value, that is 15.1. It is updated, or we can simply say db.update.find. So you have value change from 15 to 15.1. So if you wanted to do it for many, we can do it as well. So the only thing which we have to change it, and there should be many values for that. If it is not one, if it is not that, then it is going to not work. So let me try with that. MANY, and the condition which we are searching first is department. Let's say department is IT. So anybody who is there in the IT, set its value from 10 to 13. Let me see if anybody is having that value or not. IT. Department D is small, that's why it has not taken. So let me change it. Department so matched count 4. There were 4 people in the IT department, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has changed their salary from 10 to 13. So this should show now. Yeah. So it has done the mass update, and it has changed the value from 10 to 13. Now the last one in this is how do we delete a document. So the keyword is emp dot the delete one and delete many. So we'll say db dot, let's say I wanted to delete someone who is having the salary 15.1 or employee 7 details I wanted to delete. So db dot emp dot delete one, then we'll give the condition, and the condition will give is, let's give the condition employee underscore name. If it is employee 7, then delete its content, employee 7. So we are going to delete this particular what do you say, the document. The round brackets, and so one document is deleted. Now just see the content of the collection, employee collection, and employee 7 is deleted. And we can give more conditions, like someone who is having the salary equal to 13. If you wanted to delete that, we can delete that. So find the who is having the salary 13. So we'll give the curly brackets, and we'll say salary in USD 13. So we are finding, oops. So what we have to say is these curly brackets. Okay. db dot emp dot find round brackets, curly bracket starts, then we will say salary in USD, and then we will say it should be 13. If the value is 13, then let's go and find all of them. So there are 4 people having the salary 13. So what we are going to do is we are going to delete it. So instead of find, I will say delete many, DELETE T-E-M-A-N-Y, and that's it. Oh, am should be in caps. So 4 records are deleted. If we query the previous find statement, it is not going to give you anything. Or you simply say uh, find all the contents of this particular collection, you will not see anything with the 13. So this is, if we have to delete everything, you say db.emp dot I think it is delete many, and in brackets you give it, and it's going to delete everything. Delete many. Okay, let me see, what was it? Delete many, delete one, delete many, and I think I have not listed that one. So let me go back to the document. Okay, it was delete many only. db.emp dot, let me delete it one by one. Okay, I have to give the condition, I believe. Delete many, let's say I'm saying the um, employee name, emp underscore name, oops, db dot emp dot delete many, then I'll say um, many, round brackets, curly brackets, then I say uh, department in single quotes. Let's say if I give the condition uh, finance, fin, then this is going to delete that as well. Yes, and finally, if I wanted to delete the last one, let's see which one is pending now. So this is the only one. So this is how we work on the different things. So we have seen how do we create a document using insert command, db dot what do we say, db dot collection name dot insert one or insert many. This is the way we can insert the collection, insert the document in the collection. Then we have seen how do we use the find command, db dot collection name dot find, and then you can give the condition. Then we have seen db dot collection name dot update, how do we update the document. Then finally we have seen how to delete them. So this is somewhat different from your if you have worked on RDBMS, then firing the command on RDBMS is slightly easier because it is I feel it is easier, but once you have some kind of hands-on on CRUD, which is create, read, update, and delete statement in MongoDB, it is going to be very, very easy. I hope this demo is going to be useful, and thanks for watching. Welcome to MongoDB tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn what is a collection in MongoDB. So we'll see what is the difference between the RDBMS technology and MongoDB database terminology. A database in an RDBMS and MongoDB remains same. So database is known as a database in both MongoDB and RDBMS. In RDBMS, we say a collection of rows and columns as table. But in MongoDB, Analogous to table is collection. In case of RDBMS, we say record as a row, but the same in case of MongoDB is known as document or JSON document. In RDBMS, vertical one is called as the column, but in case of MongoDB, it is known as a JSON field. In MongoDB, we say a field as underscore ID, which is a unique value, and the same is known as the primary key in case of RDBMS. So database is common both in MongoDB and RDBMS. In RDBMS, table, a table in case of MongoDB, it is known as collection. Rows or records in case of RDBMS, and in MongoDB it is known as JSON document. So it is like on the top it is database. Database contains one or more collection. A collection will have one or more JSON document, and a document has a field and value pair. And unique value in case of field is known as underscore ID field. So this is a pictorial representation. There is a database at the top, then we have one or more collection. Inside the collection, you have one or more document which may have different kind of JSON field. So this is a quick overview or kind of difference between MongoDB and RDBMS terminology. You can see again, this is a pictorial view of MongoDB. At the top, you have MongoDB database. A database will have n number of collections, and the collections will have n number of documents. So if you say what is a document or what is a collection in case of MongoDB, so we will say if you know the RDBMS, in RDBMS we say it is a table, and the same thing in case of MongoDB is known as collection. A collection will have n number of documents which may be of same structure or of different structure. In MongoDB, there is no strict schema design. Let's say if you have one document with the two fields, you can have another document in the same collection with more than two fields. But in case of RDBMS, the same is not true. You will have to follow it strictly. It doesn't allow you. So MongoDB does not enforce any kind of strict schema design. So you are in one of the document, you can have two fields, another document you can have three fields, four fields, so on and so forth. So far, yeah. So in case of your MongoDB, you are free to define your column name or the data type in MongoDB, but the same is not true in case of RDBMS. So what we say collection, what is a collection? A collection is like a table in RDBMS, and a collection will have a number of documents. Documents do not have any strict schema, so you can define the documents according to your requirement. So this is a kind of how we work on or how do we create a collection. You log into Mongo shell using Mongo, and then the prompt will appear. Then you write db dot, then the name of the collection dot insert, and then you have the round bracket, then curly bracket. The first thing is the field, and another one is the value, and then the curly brackets are closed, and this and then multiple document will start with the curly brackets and starts with the curly bracket. Then everything has to be closed with the round bracket and semicolon. So when you say db dot collection name dot insert, if there is no collection already existing, then it is going to create a new collection. This is a naming convention which you have to follow, that collection name will always begin with letter or an underscore, and collection name can have the numbers as well, but you cannot use dollar, which is a reserved character in MongoDB, and the name of collection cannot be more than 128 characters, so the recommended value is 80 to 90 characters. And you can have collections organized in a group. Let's say you create a group, you create a collection employees, then you further down you can create the salary or employees dot skill. So in this case both belongs to the employee collection. So we have the last thing in this is capped collection. What is a capped collection? So capped collection are fixed size collections that support high throughput operations, and it is a kind of like circular buffers. Once the collection storage is filled or the value is filled, it makes room for the new documents by overwriting the oldest document in the collection. And how do we create a collection? Capped collection. So db dot create collection, you write the name of the collection, then capped you have to mark as true, and then you mention the size. That's the way the capped collections are created. And the last in this is uh, what do you say, the demo. Let's start with the demo. So I have listed everything in a notepad which we will be following. So I have a command prompt which we will be using. So just say Mongo and Mongo shell will appear. Yes, the Mongo shell has appeared now. So what we will do first is we'll say show DB. So this will list down the name of the databases. So let's create the one database. So we will say use MyDB. And what this will do, if this database exists, this will switch. Otherwise, it will create a new one. So if I say DB, it will show me to which DB I am connected to. I am connected to MyDB. Now we will create a collection. Collection is the first step. It is like creation of a table. So how do we do that? So we say DB dot my collection. This is the name of the collection dot insert. And then we will start with the round bracket. Then we will say, let's say the curly bracket starts, then we will give the field name. Let's say field name is name only, then colon, then a space, then we will give the value of that field. Let's say it is Avi, and then close the curly brackets, then the round bracket. In this demo, what we are going to do is we are going to create a new collection with the name My Collection, and we are going to insert a new document in that. So it has one field and one value. So it is saying right result and inserted. So one value has got inserted in that. So if I have to list down what is there, so I'll say db dot. So let me use the up arrow and db dot my collection. Then I will say find. It is like display the details. So you can see underscore id. If you don't have mentioned the underscore id, then it is going to create a unique value for that. This is the unique value. The field name is name only, and its value is avi. So this is the way we create a document in our collection. Now let's create one more collection. Sorry, one more um, document in this collection. So I'm going to create one more document in this collection. So db dot my collection dot insert name manyam, and let's create since this is schema less, so we can have more than one value. So let's do that, and we will say uh, the third value which we are going to give is okay, let's do it like uh, class We'll say it is junior, JUNIOR, and we'll close the curly brackets. The round brackets are also closed, and just say enter. So one record is also inserted now. If we say db.mycollection.find, it is going to display the all the documents in this collection. So you can see the first document is having one field that is name, and the value is Avi. The second collection is the second document is with the field name and class that has its value Mania and Junior. So this is the way we we insert one row at a document. What we can do is, if we have to explicitly insert just one row, what I can say is I can write insert one, and I'll say Mania one, and this is Junior one. So what it is going to do, it is going to insert only one document in this collection. So you can see that acknowledged is equal to true, and inserted ID, object ID, it has given. In case I have to, let's say, create more than one document in this, what we have to do, we have to mention what do we say is insert many. So let me use this one, insert many. Name, let's say I'm saying it is Mania 2, it is class is junior, and this is just one document. I want it to have more than one, so I'll just say comma, and we have to put multiple documents in square brackets. And now my the second record, which is known as the document, will start from here. So I will just say name Manan, and I'll say class 7, then I'll say, I think I have pressed enter. Let me cancel this. Oh, let me say it is Mongo, and I'll copy and paste this. Class 7, and I'll say section with section A is in, so I'll say section C, and then I'll put the curly brackets, then the square brackets, and then this. Hope the syntax is correct. Okay, so two records or two documents has got inserted. Now let's display it. So you can see that the two records which we inserted just now is Mania 2, which has the field name as name, class junior 1, and the second document with the name Manan, class 7, and section C. So this is the way we display the result of the collection. And the last in this is the capped collection. So I'll just use the example which I have mentioned over here. So how do we create a capped collection? So I'm going to create a capped collection with the db.create collection. The collection name is a student. Capping is true, size is 524, and maximum number of documents which can be inserted in this is just 50. So let's create this. And once it is done, we will see how do we drop a collection. So the collection which we had created earlier is my collection. So I'm going to drop that. So it is going to drop that one. db.mycollection.drop. And it is done. So if I say show DBs, it is showing me my DB because it has one more collection which we created with the name student. Otherwise, we have dropped the collection which we had created. I hope this is going to help, and thanks for watching. Welcome to MongoDB tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn how to import a sample JSON data using MongoDB import utility. So I have listed all the steps which we are going to perform in this notepad. So the first step is we will download the Mongo import utility. So what we will do is we will go to Internet Explorer, or in my case it is Chrome, and we'll just say mongodb.com/try/download/database_tools. So what happens by default, a Mongo import is not included in your installable directory, so it is not available as such. So what we will do is we will go and download the MongoDB database tools. So you can see the available download. You just press the download, and it is a zip file which will be downloaded. And what we have to do then is we have to unzip that file. So once you unzip that file, so you will get a file like this: MongoDB-database tools, Windows x64, x86, 64, something like that. And once you unzip it, it will be available like this. And you will be able to see some bin directory or bin folder in this. You just click that and you will be able to see these utilities: based on dump.exe, mongodump, mongoexport, mongoimport. For our demos is mongoimport.exe is required. So what we will do is we'll just copy and paste this and put it in the bin directory of our MongoDB where it is installed. So my MongoDB 4.4 instance is installed in C$ program files MongoDB server 4.4 and bin, and I have just pasted it over there. This is the first step. How do we bring Mongo import utility in the bin directory of MongoDB where it has been installed? And the second step is we have to download the sample JSON file. So what do you have? So it is already provided by MongoDB. So what you have to say is media.mongodb.org/zips .json. So what you have to do is you just have to right click and just say save as, and you have to save this file in some directory. And I have already copied it as sample JSON data, something like that. So I have copied in my C drive like sample data from mongodb.json. So what we are going to do now is I have opened a command prompt, and what we will do is let me see if my Mongo is running or not. So this is the Mongo shell, CLS. I have cleared the screen. Just say show DBs. Okay, we have something called as sample data. So let me, okay, we will create a new one. So we will be using Mongo import utility. So we'll say Mongo import, and we will say where do we want to import it? We will be importing it into a database. We'll say it is new DB, and we will put it into a collection which is called as um, collection is the keyword. Then we will say uh, new collection, uh, new collection, and then collection name we have mentioned. Then we will say the hyphen hyphen file, and we'll give the complete location of that file. Then that file is here in C drive, something like this. Sample data from mongodb.json. So, and it is available in C drive. So I'll say C drive. I hope the syntax is correct. Mongo import. Let me refer to the document. So Mongo import hyphen hyphen database name hyphen hyphen collection name hyphen hyphen file, and the complete location of the JSON file. And just press enter. You can see that it is connected to the local MongoDB instance, and it has imported 353 documents. Let's go inside. Let's say I will log in and we'll see whether it is imported correctly or not. So we say Mongo, and let's clear the screen. Just say show DBs, and we created a database with the name newDB. So let's say use newDB, and if we say show collections, it will show us all the collections which are available under this particular database. So it is new collection. So let us see if it is available, the data is available or not. So we'll say DB, which is a keyword, then the collection name. We'll say new collection, and let's display the details. We'll say fine, and you can see that it is displayed. And if you say IT, it will display more, and the import is successful. Just a recap of what we have done. Download the Mongo import. It is not MongoDB, it is Mongo import. Utility, you have to download database tools, zip file, unzip it, and copy that executable under the folder where your bin is available. It is in C drive program files, and I'll read out where it is. C drive program files, MongoDB server 4.4, and bin. You copy this utility over there, and then just download the sample JSON file which is available in media.mongodb.org, and then fire this command mongo import hyphen hyphen db sample data hyphen hyphen collection name, and hyphen hyphen file, the file name. I hope it is going to help, and thanks for watching. Hello and welcome to MongoDB tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn how to export and import data in MongoDB using mongoexport and mongoimport utility. So what is mongoexport? So mongoexport is a utility which is used to export the data in a human readable format. So it exports the data of collection in JSON format, but if you wanted, you can put it in CSV format as well. So what Mongo export does, it takes the snapshot of the entire collection and it displays either on the console, or it will dump everything into the dump file. So what is the syntax of Mongo export? It is Mongo export hyphen hyphen host, the host where the server is running, hyphen hyphen username, the user which is used to authenticate this, hyphen hyphen password, you can put the password. So if you don't put host name, it is going to be optional. Username and password are also optional if you have not authenticated it. Hyphen hyphen db is the database name, and hyphen hyphen collection is the collection name which you are going to export. Hyphen hyphen out is the location. You have to put the location where you want to export this particular collection. So this is the example: Mongo export hyphen hyphen db. Let's say my db is new db hyphen hyphen collection. The collection which is inside that new db is new collection hyphen hyphen out. I'll give the complete location of the JSON file which I'm going to export. And this is the way we import the data using Mongo import. So Mongo import utility is going to import the data which has been created using the Mongo export command. So this is the syntax. The syntax of Mongo import is Mongo import hyphen hyphen. We'll put the host name hyphen hyphen username. Then you put the username hyphen hyphen password. Put the password hyphen hyphen db. The database where it is this collection is going to be imported. Then hyphen hyphen collection name where the collection will be restored, and hyphen hyphen file. This is the input file, and this is the example which we are going to use. Mongo import hyphen hyphen db, the database name hyphen hyphen collection, the collection name, and hyphen hyphen file, the file from where it is going to read. And in the end, we will see how to do this using a demo. So let me close this, and this is the file from where we are going to use this, and we will take the export and do the import using Mongo export and Mongo import. So this is Mongo shell. So I'm already connected. If you see that we have show DBs, so you can see show DBs. We have sample data which is 0.002 GB in size. So let's take an export of this. So to do the export, you have to go to the command prompt and you have to type mongo export hyphen hyphen db, and the database name is let me see the database which wherein this is. So let's say I'm going to new db, use new db. I'm connected to that, and just type show collection. Just wanted to see show collections, and we have new collection over there. So we are going to export it from here. So I'll say mongo export hyphen hyphen db. Database name is I forgot the database name, and it is a new db and new collection. So we say db new db is database is new db hyphen hyphen collection name is new collection, and then we will give the location where it is going to be exported hyphen hyphen out. We'll give a location C drive. There is, I think there is a dump folder. We will put it inside that C colon dump slash new collection dot JSON. So it will be exported in this. Just press enter, and hyphen hyphen collection new collection hyphen out. So it is saying error parsing mongo export, and collection must begin with the mongo hyphen hyphen db new db hyphen hyphen collection new collection hyphen hyphen. I think I missed hyphen hyphen out. Yes. Yep. So it is done. We got some 29,500 and 353 records. Now what we will do, let's go back, and we'll try to create a new database. Let's say we say show DBs, oops, show DBs, and let's create a database. Okay, we will create it once. Okay, let's do the import in a new database and new collection. We will say mongo import mongo import hyphen hyphen db. Let's say the database new SundayDB, new sun, and we'll say the collection name, which will be created as new call sun, and the file location is hyphen hyphen file. So just remember it is double hyphen, and it is going to import from this. So it is c colon slash dump slash new collection dot json. Uh, just press enter, and this is running. You can see that 29,353 records have been imported. You can go back to the shell, and let's clear the screen, and we'll say show DBs, and the database which is created is new sun. So we'll say use new sun, and we'll say uh, DB, to which DB we are connected. We are connected to new sun, and now say show collections. So the database is also created, and the collection is also created. So you can say db dot new new call COLLSUN dot find, and in case you wanted to see, you will be able to see that records have been populated. So Mongo export and Mongo import, they're very good utility when we are going to deal with the collections, or you put some kind of query inside, like if you just wanted a particular field, or you put some particular condition in that way. Mongo export and Mongo import are very, very fast, and they are very useful. I hope Mongo export and import is going to help you, and thanks for watching. Welcome to MongoDB tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn about mongodump and mongoRestore utility. So starting from MongoDB version 4.2, mongodump and mongoRestore utility are coming as the database tool. So if you are working on Windows, you just go and download these utilities from database underscore tools, and you can put these binary uh, in your MongoDB home in bin directory, so that you can use it easily. So let us see what is a mongodump. Mongodump is a utility which can be used to back up the entire server, that is the database or the individual collections, or you can use it to query a part of the collection which can be backed up. So if you run mongodump without any argument, so what it will do, it will create a database backup named dump, which will be dumped to your current directory, and all the databases and their collections will be dumped in that in bson format. So mongodump, how do we use it? So mongodump can be used, you can use it with the basic things like hyphen hyphen host, which corresponds to the host name where this MongoDB is running, then hyphen hyphen port name. Well, if it is default port, then you don't need to write it. So you can use mongo dump hyphen hyphen host, then put the host name hyphen hyphen port. If it is different than the default port, which is 27017, then you can put it over there. So the basic command to backup a database with Mongo dump, you can specify some different directories. So you say Mongo dump hyphen hyphen out, and then you can mention the location of the backup directory, and you can dump all the databases and their collections over there. So in case you wanted to, there are some additional features provided along with that. Let us assume I have a database with the name MyDB, and it has a collection with the name My Collection. If you wanted to take a backup of that using Mongo dumps, then you can use Mongo dump hyphen hyphen DB database name hyphen hyphen collection My Collection, and you can mention the location hyphen hyphen out, and the location over there. This is the way we use Mongo dump as a basic command. The MongoDump, which creates a binary dump of the database or the collections, then it can only be read by mongoRestore. So mongoRestore utility is used to restore the binary backup which is created by MongoDump, and MongoDump can restore either the entire database or a subset of the backup. You can restore a particular collection, or you can leave the execution, leave some collection, and you can, if you wanted to exclude them, you can do that. So the basic command is mongo restore, and the location where that file is located, which has been backed up using the mongo backup command, mongodump command. So let's see the demo. Let me close this, and we'll actually concentrate here on this uh, Mongo. What do you say? The let me go to C drive. I have directory Mongo backup. Let me uh, Mongo backup, and let me remove the contents from here. Uh, Let us remove everything from here. So everything is deleted now. What we will do, we will go with the uh, basic command of backing up using the Mongo dump. So if I simply say uh, Mongo dump, what it will do, it will dump all the contents of your database and collections in your default dump directory. So it will go to C drive. So let me remove the dump directory as well. So I have the dump directory already available. So let me delete the content over there. If this folder is not available, it is going to create that as well. So Mongo dump or Mongo restore has to be executed from the command prompt only. You are not supposed to execute it from Mongo shell. It is not going to work. So I'll simply say Mongo dump, and we'll see what happens. So it is going to write everything in. If you read it over here, so it is going to put everything in dump folder. So let's go to dump folder and see. It is with today's date, admin, MyDB, NewDB, NewDB2, NewSun, sample data, test, and testDB. These are the databases which has been backed up by MongoDump. If you go to new DB, there will be n number of collections which are available. So just to cross verify that, what we will do is we'll go to Mongo shell. Let me clear the screen, and if I say show DBs, it will show the list of the databases. So let's go to new DB. So we'll say use new DB and show collections, and it will show you all the collections which are available. So when we used Mongo dump, it has dumped all the collections. So if you wanted to see the content of these, then you can see there is a BSON format, and it is a binary format. Now going on to the next example, what we are going to do is we are going to uh, take a backup of, let's say, a collection with the name salary, which is inside new DB database. So what we will say is Mongo dump, then hyphen hyphen DB, and then we will give the DB name, which is new DB, and then hyphen hyphen collection, and the collection name is salary, and let's say give the location hyphen hyphen out. So let's mention the location C drive slash Mongo backup, and that's more than enough. And oops, Mongo dump, then I'll give hyphen hyphen DB equal to new DB hyphen hyphen collection, which is equal to uh, let's say salary, that is the collection name, hyphen hyphen out equal to C drive slash Mongo backup, and just press enter. So you can see that done dumping newdb.salary. If you go to Mongo backup, Mongo backup, then you can see that newdb database, that folder is created. Then inside that we have a salary uh, collection that has been dumped in the JSON format, and this is the metadata. So if you wanted to read it, just open it in the, let's say, edit plus. So you can see there is some indexing information available in what do you say, the JSON format, and rest of the information is available in the form of a JSON, which is the binary format, and it is not in a readable format. So let me close all this, and let's go back to the terminal and continue on with the next command. So what we are going to do is we are going to exclude just one backup. So we will say we don't want to take a backup of what do you say, salary. So we'll say exclude collection. So you wanted to see how to use exclude collection. EXCLUDE, exclude. I think C should be in caps. And let's remove everything. Let's remove everything. Yep. Now what we wanted to do is we wanted to take a backup of NewDB database, and we just wanted to exclude the salary collection. There are n number of collections which are available. You can see the department, employee, new collection 2, off underscore employee. So we just wanted to exclude a salary backup. So we will just press enter. Okay. Just say, yeah. So it is going to take backup of everything other than salary. Just go to NewDB, and if you see there is nothing starting with S, and we have seen how to use the exclude command. The next thing which we can see as an example is how to take the backup in an archive file. So we will say Mongo dump hyphen db is equal to new db, and we will say let's remove most of the things. Let me remove this thing, and instead of hyphen out, I will say archive, archive C drive, Mongo backup, and then we will say slash newdb dot archive. So it is archived, and we'll go and see what. Okay, I should have. Okay, this is the one. NewDB.archive is generated. This is 21 MB in size. Let's go on to the next one, wherein what we wanted to do is we wanted to compress the output in a zipped format. So we'll say mongodump, and then we will say hyphen zzip. Then the database, everywhere we are using db is equal to new db only, and then we will say hyphen out, and we will put everything in C drive slash Mongo backup slash and we'll say newdb.zip. Yes, let's do that. I think MongoDB mongodump hyphen -zip database name then and the output format. So you can see that let's say just one of the collection has been zipped, so all the collections will be zipped. So let's go to newdb.zip. This is the folder which is created, and inside that you have newdb database, and these are the different uh, collections which has been zipped. So this is going to save a lot of storage. So this is how do we compress using the zip command. And now let's clear the screen, and we will see um, the mongo restore command. If you wanted to restore it, um, let's say mongo restore hyphen db is equal to let's say new db example, and we'll give the location as C drive slash mongo backup slash new db. I think, yep. So what it has done is it has restored the databases. Let it do, and we will see. As of now, you can see there is no database with the name new example. So if I say show DBs, there is a database with the name which we have restored just now. So we'll say use new DB example, and if we say show collections, all the um, uh, all the collections have been restored under this particular database. This is how do we use Mongo restore. So you can do some more things over here. We can try some more, or what we can do is let's say if we just wanted to restore a particular collection, we can do that as well. Let's drop one of the collection. Let's say we are going to drop uh, DB. So we uh, okay, DB. We are connected to new DB dot new DB example. So we are going to drop DB dot which, let's say we wanted to drop users collection. So we'll say DB dot users dot drop drop, and let's show collections. Let me clear the screen, and if I say show collections, so we have okay, so this should be db dot users dot drop. Yes. Uh, uh, so let me see the syntax. Uh, there should be a bracket over here. Oops, db, it's not so, okay, db. DB, it is new DB example. Okay, let me copy and paste. Okay, it is small. Oh, that's a big problem here. db dot users dot drop in single quotes. Okay, it is dropped now. So if I say show collections, the users is dropped, and we are going to restore it from mongo restore command. So we'll say mongo restore, and we will mention the database in which we are going to restore is from compressed backup, and we'll say you just include ns include is equal to uh, new db. Ns include will say um, new let me see the database name, new db example. So we will say in double quotes new db example dot uh, dot users. Just close this, and then we have to provide the backup location and name, mongo backup slash new db dot zip. That's it. ns include, I think ns include I should be in caps. New db example dot ns include. Oops, the syntax is always, you have to take care. Hyphen hyphen ns include is equal to new db example. Yes, preparing restoration and okay, failed to restore. Let me see what was the name. New db dot zip. New db mongo backup ns include. Okay, mongo restore hyphen hyphen zip hyphen hyphen ns include is equal to, okay, users. That's the one we dropped. Okay, let me see. Show collections. DB, new DB example. And what is the name I have given? New example. And let's include new DB mongo restore hyphen hyphen zip hyphen hyphen ns include is equal to new db example dot users. Is it user or users? Let me see what users. Okay, let me see if it is available in that or not. New db.zip. Users is there. New db.zip, mongo backup, new db.zip. And let's include new db, new db example.users. Let me see if a non-option ns include. Okay, there is a minor problem. Restored successfully. Mongo restore. Let me see the documentation. Restore collection. Mongo restore hyphen zzip hyphen ns include equal to new db, or okay, let me do it in new db if there is any minor mistake. Mongo, clear the screen, show dbs, use new db, show collections. So let's drop db dot users dot drop. Let me drop this. This is dropped. Now let us restore it. We'll say mongo restore hyphen zzip ns include, and here we will say new db c colon mongo backup hyphen new db dot zip. Yes, there was some minor spelling mistake or something which I was not able to figure out. So we did it in new DB database, and users collection is restored. So this is the way we restore databases and collections in Mongo Restore. It is very easy, and the same can be used to refresh the development environment from the production environment, or syncing the databases using this mongodump and mongo restore utility. So there is a separate tutorial on mongo export and import which you can refer to, and I hope this is going to be helpful, and thanks for watching. Welcome to MongoDB tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn how to create the admin user and the application user in MongoDB. So I have a Linux system which is up and running with MongoDB 4.2, I believe, and we will be creating the admin user and one of the application user, and then we will see how to authenticate it using the newly created user. So what happens by default in MongoDB? Uh, Let me first fire sudo systemctl status MongoDB. So you can see that service is not running, so it is it's running in the active status. And what we will do now is, if I try to log into the Mongo shell, what I will say, I'll simply say mongo Mongo, and this will take me to the Mongo shell. This is not one of the best way because there is no user authentication, there's no password provided. So what we are going to do, we are going to create an admin user, and we will create one of the application user, and we'll see for the particular database how to do that. So first thing which we are going to do is let us shut it down first. Sudo systemctl stop mongod, and now start the mongod hyphen port 27017 hyphen db path, and it's still in the default location /var/live/mongo. Press enter, and you can see that the daemon is starting now. And let's open one more terminal. One more terminal is open now, and we will log into mongod. Let's say sudo su space minus mongod. So I'm connected through mongod user. Let's clear the screen, and then what we will say is mongo hyphen port number is 27017, and we are connected to Mongo shell. Now what we will do is we will, if you say show DBs, it will show you it will show you the admin database, which is going to store the user credentials or user details. So we'll say use admin, so this will be switched to, and then we will fire a command to create the user. So to create the user, this has been taken from MongoDB document. So we just copy and paste to db.createUser, and then username I have mentioned admin. You mention it anything which you wanted to have it, and what this will do, I will tell you. Just copy and paste it on the command shell. So what it is doing is DB is the keyword. Create user is going to create a user. Username is admin. Password it will prompt, and the role, the default database role is user admin any database. That means this particular user will be the admin of any database, and this can read write any database. So this is a super user. Password we are entering as, let's say, password only. It is successfully created. Now let's do the next step. In the next step, what we are going to do is we are going to shut down the Mongo instance. So we'll say db dot admin command round bracket, then in the curly bracket we'll say shutdown :1 curly brackets, then round brackets, and just say enter. Spell mistake, shutdown, and it is going to terminate the daemon which was running. So it is down now. Now what we will do is we will go to sudo vi/etc/mongodb.conf. We'll go to configuration file, and under the security section we'll add a parameter, or you simply uncomment this and mention AUTHORIZATION authorization enabled, and just save it. Let me give one more space if it creates a problem. Yes, save it, and right. And if we start it now, mongod auth hyphen hyphen port 27017 hyphen hyphen db path, and then we will say var lib slash mongod. Let me see what is the issue. uh, mongod auth hyphen hyphen port 27010 hyphen hyphen db path var lib mongo. Yes, so I prefer to copy and paste because of these spell mistakes, so this is working fine. Yeah, now let's go to another window. Sudo su space minus mongod, and now we will log in using a user ID and password, and this is the way we are going to log in. So we are saying mongo hyphen hyphen port 27010 hyphen authentication database is admin hyphen u, username is admin hyphen p is the password which it will prompt for, password is password only, and you are logged in. So this is enabling the access, and now if we say show DBs, this will show me the databases. Now using this admin user, you can create further application user and give some name to that. So I'm going to create a user, let's say it is app user, and we have a database test, and we are going to say, we are saying use test and db.create user, and the username is app user, and just give full permission on the on test database. So the role is read write, so it can do anything with the test database. Just say and enter the password, let's say I mentioned password only, exit. Now let's see how can we log in. Mention the username as app user only, and let's test it out. We are saying mongo shell hyphen hyphen port 27017 hyphen u, user is app user, hyphen hyphen authentication database is test, and password it will prompt for. The password is password only, and if you say show DBs, this will show you only the test database. So this is how we enable the authentication on MongoDB. So I'll go through the step once again. This is the link from where it has been referenced from the MongoDB documentation. You have to start the MongoDB daemon from the port, the port which is mentioned, and the database path. Then you start the Mongo from that particular port. Then you create the admin user. You have to use the admin database because it stores all that information. You use db.create a user, and then you mention the username of your choice, and then it will prompt for the password. That this is the default, this is the database or the MongoDB instance level role which is predefined, which is user admin any database. So this can admin any database. It can read write any database. Then what you have to do is you have to shut down the MongoDB instance, and then you have to add authorization is equal to enabled. Then you restart your MongoDB daemon, and then you log in through this particular way, mongo hyphen port. If you don't want to mention, that is fine, but you have to mention the authentication database, which database you wanted to log in. So it is admin, and hyphen u, then you mention the username is admin, and hyphen p is the password. Then it will prompt and you enter the password. The same way we have created a user app user, then we have granted it the full access on test, then we have logged into the test database using Mongo shell. And this is the way we manage the user, create user in MongoDB environment. I hope this is going to help, and thanks for watching. So we are going to create a replica set in which there will be three nodes. First is the primary instance, which is on localhost, which is on my Windows system, which I'm going to install it right away. It will be on the default port 27010. Then we will create two more secondary instance, which will be 27020 and 27030. So I have already downloaded the binary, and it is there in my system. So let me install the MongoDB 4.4. So this is MongoDB 4.4. This is the latest version. Just accept the license, complete version I'm going to install. We are going to run the MongoDB service as a service. And let me see if it already exists. C drive / program files. Open it, because I have done installation earlier, so just wanted to make sure that the earlier one is removed. Yeah, it is removed. Just give this location, just say next and next, and this will be installed within no time. Once it is installed, we'll just uh, check the Mongo shell prompt, and we'll see if it is coming up properly or not. This should not take more than 30 seconds or so. In the meantime, what I will do is I'll go to command prompt, and I'll open a command prompt, run as administrator. And once the installation finishes, we'll check whether this Mongo shell it is completed. Now just say Mongo. All right, just say show DBs. Yes, we have the database created as a result of the installation. So our this thing is correct. So what I'm going to do is, so I have noted down everything in a notepad. So what we are going to do as a first step is we are going to create two more directory structure. One is data1 and another is data2. And we'll create the data file and this thing location over there. So I'm going to say mkdir C drive / data1 / db. Here we are going to store the data files of first secondary node, and in log we are going to store the log file, and in config folder we are going to um, store the configuration file. This is for the first secondary slave which we are going to create, and then we will have to do the same for the second one, data2, and this should be data2. Let's go back to the system and see if this exists or not. Go to C drive, and what we are going to do is we have already created data1, which has three folder: config, db, and log. Now we are going to create the um, data2 with three subfolders. Let's cross check if it has come up or not. Data1, and where is data2? This is the data2, and these are the three folders. Okay, done. The next step, what we are going to do is we are going to create the configuration file for the first secondary slave, and then second secondary slave. So what we will say is just clear the screen, and we'll navigate to cd C drive / data1 / config, and just say notepad and mongodb.cnf. Okay, notepad is open, just save it, and we'll say 3 db path equal to, then log path equal to, log path equal to, and the last one is port. So the second instance, which is for the first secondary slave, we are going to mention the location as C drive slash data1 slash db. And for log path, we are saying C drive slash data1 slash log slash mongodb.log. And port for the second node is 27020. That's for the second instance, 270. And in the similar way, cd to data2 config folder and create a notepad with the mongodb.cnf. And again, all the three, db path equal to C drive slash data2 slash db. Then we have log path equal to C drive slash data2 slash log slash mongodb.log. And finally, the port, it is 27030. Just save it. Yes, so now what we are going to do is we have to stop the service of the master node, and then we have to start the service with the replica set parameter. So what we'll go to services.msc, and we'll look for MongoDB 4.2, 4.4. Refresh it. Yeah, so this is MongoDB 4.4. It is not visible. You can right click, go to properties, and see it is 4.4. Now let's stop this. Once it is stopped, we'll start it in the daemon mode with the replica set parameter. So this is the first thing which we are going to do, and cls cd slash. Now what we will say is mongod hyphen hyphen db path, and in the single quotes we will mention the location of the db path. Go to C drive, program files, and MongoDB server 4.4 data. This is my location for the data files. So just put this over here, and then we will have to give hyphen hyphen log path single quote. Instead of data, we'll say log slash mongodb.log, and then hyphen hyphen port. It is running on 270. It was running on 27017 hyphen hyphen storage engine, engine equal to wired tiger, which is the default mode from 4.0 onwards. And then we will say hyphen hyphen journal, journal, and then hyphen hyphen replica set. We'll give the name test rep. Okay, so we have given MongoDB hyphen hyphen db path, the location, then hyphen log path, the location, then hyphen hyphen port, storage engine, journal, replica set, and if everything is fine, this will get started. This is started. Now open another terminal, command prompt, execute as administrator. And what we will do is we will execute Mongo shell from here with port mongo port 27017, because this is our master or primary instance. So just press enter. If you say show DBs, now we have started it as replica set whose name is rep set. So if I say show DBs, it is showing it is not master slave. Okay, just clear the screen and then we will add the configuration. So we will say rsconf equal to, in curly brackets we will say underscore id colon quotes test wrap uh, quotes comma members members colon, then in square brackets we'll say, and then curly brackets, then underscore id colon 0. I'll explain what I'm going to type. Host colon localhost colon 27017 quotes square bracket and then curly bracket. So we are saying create a replica set configuration with underscore id colon equal to, okay, I haven't, I should have, um, okay, underscore id colon test wrap members colon, we are saying it is the first member whose id is 0, host is local host, and the port number is 27017. Just press enter and then we will initiate it. We'll say rs dot initiate, and what we have to initiate, we have to initiate this configuration. So we'll say rs conf, close it, and yeah, okay, one cluster name is I think it is looking fine. It is still showing secondary. Just press enter and it is showing now it is primary node. And now say show DBs. So we have altered our the only instance which is running on Windows as the primary instance or primary node. Now what we will do now is we will instantiate two nodes which will be the secondary node now. So let's open one more command prompt. Okay, that's already utilized. So let's go to command prompt, and the way we have started the first node, we will be starting the second and the third node as well. Okay, let me resize it. Right. So we'll say mongo d, then we will say hyphen db path, and what is the db path location? It is C drive / data1 / db quotes, then we will say hyphen log path. It's equal to, or it's the location is C drive / data1 / log / mongodb /.log quotes hyphen port. The port which we have mentioned it for it is 27020, and then we will say hyphen storage engine equal to wired tiger hyphen journal, and then hyphen we will say uh, replica set name is test rep. So what this will do, this will instantiate our first node. So our first secondary node is this one, the slave node. This is the first slave node, and this will be populated. So as of now, you can see this is blank. So the moment we enter, so what this is doing, mongo d hyphen hyphen db path c drive data 1 db log path we have given, then we have given port, then we have given storage engine, then general replica set is test strip. And you can see that this is getting populated. So this is filling up because it is replicating the data. In the same way, we will do it for the second slave. We'll go to command prompt, right click, run as administrator, and we will populate the second uh, instance as well. So this is data 2 and the DB as of now it is blank. So just say cd/cls and we'll say MongoD. It is MongoD hyphen hyphen db path. It is c drive slash data 2 slash db hyphen hyphen log path c drive slash data 2 slash log slash mongod slash dot log, and then hyphen hyphen port, it is 27030, and hyphen hyphen storage engine, we have to mention the default engine, which is wired tiger, and then hyphen hyphen journal hyphen hyphen we will say replica set replset test rep, and this should be fine now. Yep. Now let's go back to the folder and see if it is getting populated or not. Yeah, it is getting populated. So we have populated the data. Now what we will do is we will go back to the command prompt of MongoD on primary instance, and we will add these two nodes. That's the important point which we have to perform. So if we say show DBs, this is fine. And if we say rs dot status, it will show that there is only config version, config source, and it is showing the member. There is only one member at this point of time, and we have to add two more members. So what we will say is rs a replica set, and the command is add. What do we need to add? We need to add a host whose host name is localhost. That means it is existing on the same host where I'm working. The port number is 27020 quotes, and then we will close it. Oops. Just say show DBs. So this should be rs status. So this should show us, okay, this is showing underscore ID1 is also added to 27020, and the first one is primary, this is secondary. Now we will add the last one in this series, and localhost 27030. So just remember that before you initiate this, add this, the data should be available. Just add this as well, and once it is added, we'll say rs status, and you can see that the third node is also state. So id underscore 2 with the port number 27030, and this is 27017. This is the primary. This is first secondary. This is secondary, and that is it. Now what we have, we are near the final of this, so we'll go to the command prompt of okay, let's open one more command prompt. We'll go to cmd and we will check whether the secondary is also identifying itself as the secondary or not. So we'll say Mongo, let's resize it. So we are trying to identify first secondary node as the slave. So we'll say Mongo hyphen hyphen port 27020. So you can see that it is identifying it as secondary. And if you say show DBs, it is saying not master and slave. So we have to tell that you are the slave. So we'll type a command rs replica set dot slave. Okay, that means you are okay to be a slave. Just say enter and just say show DBs. So you can see that this has worked fine. Now what we will do, we will uh, open up one more command prompt for the secondary node, which is the last slave in this configuration. Just resize it and just say CLS, and we'll say Mongo, and we are starting the um, Mongo shell for third node. So it is 27030. Okay, it is already identifying it as the secondary, but the moment you say show DBs, it should be able to identify it. No, it is not saying that not master and not slave. So we'll say rs dot slave. Okay, and that is it. Now say show DBs, that means now we have the configuration which is working perfectly fine. So what we will do now is we will create a database on the primary, and then we will see whether it is getting replicated properly or not. So all of them are having 3 databases at present. So we will add one database and we'll see. So it is also, the first secondary is also having 3 databases, and the last one is also like that. Show DBs. Now let's do the testing, and for that we are going to create a database, and this is my primary. You can see the prompt over here, primary, and the port 27017. Now let's say let's create a database. We'll say replica testing. Okay, we are into that. Now let's create what do you say, employee collection in that, EMPLOYEE, and we will say insert one document, and round bracket, then curly bracket, and we'll give the field name as name and its value as v, and let's close it out, and just press enter. Yeah, so db.employee, and then it is inserted. Let's add one more. Okay, we have 2 inserted. Now let's say show DBs, and you can see that A replica testing database is created on the primary node. Now let's check it on the first secondary. Just say show DBs and you can see replica testing database created or replicated on first secondary slave. This is using the op logs, and then the last one in this series, just say show DBs. It is the replica testing is now replicated. This is how do we do the replication, or how this is how we perform the replication in MongoDB. So everything is created on a single node that is on my system, and we have created 3 instances, which are one is primary and 2 are secondary slave. They are replicating. The primary is sending the op logs to both the secondary, and all the 3 are in sync. So that means primary is sending all the logs to secondary. I hope this is going to help, and thanks for watching. Welcome to MongoDB tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn about storage engine in MongoDB. So what is a MongoDB storage engine? So in a MongoDB, storage engine is the component which is responsible how the data will be managed on the disk and memory, and it is relevant to the versions which you are working upon. So there are 2 types of storage engine in MongoDB. So first one is the wired tiger storage engine. So this is the storage engine which is coming by default from version 3.2. As of now it is version 4.4, and when you do not know which storage engine has to be used, so when you install the community version, so what happens is uh, it is well suited for most workloads. So if you don't know which engine has to be used, you go with the wired tiger storage engine. The second storage engine which is available, it is in MongoDB enterprise version, and what it does, it keeps everything in the memory than keeping it on the disk. And just because it is very good because it is coming from the memory, and it is by design only. So there was one more engine which was available in versions prior to 3.2. It was MMAPV1 uh, storage engine, and it was available in version which was prior to 3.2, and it was supposed to be one of the most successful memory based engine, because what it does, it utilizes the available memory on the system very efficiently. So if you do not know which has to be used in the prior version, you have to go with the MMAPV1 storage engine. So what it does, this particular storage engine, if you have a free memory available on your machine, let's say out of 100 GB, you have some 25 GB available on the system. So it efficiently uses that memory, and the performance of the system becomes very good. And it's one of the feature was it is dynamic in nature, so whenever another process need that, it is going to release it. So that's about the storage engine. So storage engine is what it is. It is a database component which is used to manage the disk and the memory in MongoDB. So like how the data will be managed. And there are 3 types: wired tiger storage engine, which is default from version 3.2. Second one, in-memory storage engine, that is for enterprise edition. And the third one is the deprecated one. It is MMAPV1. It was available in versions prior to 3.2. So next thing is, how is the storage managed in the MongoDB? So MongoDB manages data with the storage engine, and it does in terms of a journal. This is specifically when you are dealing with the wired tiger storage engine. So it creates the log between the checkpoints, which helps in recovering the database in case there is an event of hard shutdown. Let's say the database has done the checkpointing at one particular point of time, and another checkpointing was supposed to happen in, let's say, a couple of seconds, and before that the database has crashed. Then these general files, which has the transaction details in the serialized format, they will be used to recover the system. There is one more type of storage, which is gridfs. This is useful when you have the documents whose size is greater than 16 MB. This slide talks about the storage engine features of Wired Tiger, which is the default storage. So the first one is document level concurrency. So it means that in a collection, if there are multiple documents available and many clients are trying to access them all at the same time, then it is possible. And in case there is some kind of conflict between the two operations, they are trying to update or modify the same document. In that case, MongoDB will take a decision and it will try to resolve that conflict. There are two more terms which are coming in MongoDB. There is snapshot and the checkpoints. So Wired Tiger storage engine uses MVCC, which is multi-version concurrency control. That means a persistent view of the data will be available when the same data is getting modified, so that the end user will not face any problem. So what it does, a snapshot is always present consistently in the memory area, and while the other copy is getting modified and will be returned to the disk, the same will be available for that time being in memory data. So when it is going to write to the disk, there will be two operations performed. One is the persistent data will be returned to the disk, and in a consistent way on all the data files. That is known as the checkpointing. So the checkpointing will ensure that the data files are consistent, and it will make sure that everything is consistent till the last checkpoint. So checkpoint, we can say it's a recovery point. Till that point, data is saved in your data files. So by default, Wired Tiger creates a checkpoint after an interval of 60 seconds. That is by default. And in between, if you are inserting the data or making an attempt to write it to the disk, that happens as usual. There's one more term which is commonly used in Wired Tiger storage engine is journal. So what is journal? Journal is a val, which is write ahead log. So what it is, so it is having all the transaction details, and it is used in along with the checkpointing. So let's say at 10 a.m. There was a checkpoint happened onto the database, so everything will be written persistently onto the disk because of the checkpointing. And between 10 a.m. to 10:05, let us assume the checkpointing is supposed to happen at 10:05. Then in between, whatever transactions are happening, they will be captured into the write ahead log, which is journal. And let's say 10:04, the system has crashed. Then all the journals, which are all the transaction logs which are generated between 10 to 10:04, they will be used for the recovery. So that's the use of these journal files. Compression is another feature. So your storage engine, that is Tiger storage engine, supports compression. So it is going to compress your data and the indexes very efficiently, and it uses two compression libraries. One is JEDLib, another is JEDSTD, and this is the default one starting from Mongo 4.2. Another is important feature is the utilization of the memory. So whatever memory you allocate to the Tiger storage engine, so it uses it them in the internal cache and the file system cache. So how do we use that internal cache, or how much memory we have to allocate to the system? Let's say there is 8 GB of RAM allocated to the system, then the internal cache is going to use 50% minus 1. That means 10 divided by 2 is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. That means 4 GB will be available. Or if it is not following that, if it is lesser than that, then 256 MB will be used. Let's say 1 GB of RAM is available. There is another storage engine which is known as MongoDB in-memory storage engine, and it is available for the enterprise edition. And this is good because this is faster, because it is not going to maintain anything on the disk. Everything will be there in the in-memory area. If you talk about the data, indexes, or user credentials, everything will be like that. In case you wanted to start the DB with that, so you just have to write this command mongod -- storage engine. You will say in memory, and you have to give the DB path, or you can use the YAML configuration file as well, like this way. This slide is talking about the memory storage engine, in-memory storage engine features. First is the concurrency. So there's nothing new. So multiple clients can modify different documents at one particular point of time. Memory usage, this is really great. So what it does, it requires that all must fit into the specified in-memory size GB. So in memory, storage engine uses 50% of the RAM minus 1. Let's say 10 GB, same example. 10 GB divided by 2 is 5 minus 1, 4. So 4 GB will be available for this. Durability, it is not persistent, and it is not available into the disk. Transaction, it supports the transaction. So there is one more term which is coming up very frequently, is journaling. So it provides this provides the log, the transaction logs, which are used during the recovery of the instance, because after the checkpointing, when it is going to, let's see what happens in the recovery process. So in the recovery process, it will look for the data files when the system is coming up, like what is the identifier of the last checkpoint, and after the last checkpoint it will search for the journal files that has all the records that matches the last checkpoint. So, and it is going to apply those transaction logs, or it is in MongoDB it is known as journal. So those journals will be applied, and they will be bringing up the instance. So it applies the operation in the journal file since the last checkpoint. It's normal database recovery scenario. So compression, by default, MongoDB configures WireTiger to use snappy configuration for its journaling data. And what is the file size limit? So it can go up to maximum of 100 MB. Then it is going to create one. So journaling and the in-memory storage engine. So we said that storage engine works along with the journaling, but that is only possible in a storage engine in WireTiger storage engine, where in the database files you know, catches up the snapshot, so that the persistent data is written onto the disk, but not in case of in memory, because everything is in memory. So journaling is not possible here in case of in memory. So it is not going to create those files. How do we manage the journaling? If you wanted to disable it, you just have to mention when you are starting MongoDB -- no journal. So I think in the newer version that is not possible to disable it. If you wanted to check the journal status, you just say db.server status, and it will show you that. In the demo we will see how to find the size of one of the collection, and then we will try to compress one of the collection. Let's see that. So let me close this out and show, and this is my Mongo shell. So the first command which I'm going to fire is show DBS. So you can see that I have a number of database, and if I say use new DB and say show collections, it will show me a number of collections which are available. Let's say if I wanted to compress a particular collection, let's say it has uh, utilized 80% of the storage, what I will say is db.run command command round bracket curly brackets, then I will say compact, and then the collection name what I'm going to use is salary. So what this will do, this will compress, but this is not going to release the storage to the operating system. command. Okay, db.run command C is in caps. So that's okay. Show collection. So I'm not sure if it has any data or not. So let me use something else like employee, EMPLOYEE. db.run command. Uh, there is some either this space issue or okay. Let me try with the codes. Yep, so it has worked. So it has freed 0 KB, and it has been although there was no fragmentation, that's why it has not done. If it was there was some fragmentation, it could have done that. And db dot collection dot stats. So new DB collection, you can see that although it's not big in size, that's why it is not showing, and it has all been compressed. If it was having some size which it can show, it would have shown you over here. So that's how we deal with the storage in MongoDB. So starting like we saw the different type of storage engine. Then the demo was, I think it was very simple. db dot stats we ran in build beginning. Okay, db dot stats. This will show you the DB which you are connected to new DB collection. There are 8 collections, and you can see there are this many number of objects. Average object size is this much in byte, data size is this one, storage size is this one, and there are 8 indexes. That's all for the storage engine and the demo on storage engine. I hope it is going to help, and thanks for watching. This tutorial we will learn how to allow remote access to MongoDB. So this is a kind of demo only. So we'll log into one of the server where MongoDB is running. So my MongoDB is running. Let me close this to right. Yeah. So my MongoDB server is running on 192.168.1.61. So I'm logged in as a MongoD user, and I'll say sudo systemctl status MongoD. You can see the status is running. So if I say Mongo, so by default Mongo is configured and installed to allow local connections only. If I say Mongo, so I'm logged into the database server. If I say show DBS, I'll be able to see the databases. And there is another way also. If I say Mongo hyphen hyphen host and I mention the name host as the local host, so I'm again logged in. I'm trying with the third way, so I'll say IP a pipe grep net. Just checking the IP address of my system, it is 192.168.1.61. So if I try to log in Mongo hyphen hyphen host and 192.168.1.61, this will show me the error that connection is refused. Right. Similarly, if it is not able to connect from the local system, which is on the same server, it will not be able to log in from the remote server. This is my remote server, and the IP address is IPA pipe grep net. So you can see the IP address is 51. So if I try to log in from this server, Mongo hyphen hyphen host 192.168.1.61, again this is connection is refused. So what I will do to allow the connection is you have to go to sudo vi/etc/mongodb.conf file and go to bind IP. And here in the bind IP, you have to mention the IP address of the card of this local system, and the IP address is 192.168.1.61. So I have added the IP address of the server itself in mongodb.conf. Just restart after making the changes. So we'll say sudo system ctl restart MongoDB. So this should restart immediately. So this is done. Just check the status. The status is active and running. So clear the screen and then we will say Mongo hyphen hyphen host and we'll mention the IP address 192.168.1.61. All right, so I'm able to log in. It is show DBs. You will be able to see all the databases. So now next what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it from the remote server. So this is my remote server where we already have the Mongo shell installed. So here we will say Mongo hyphen hyphen host and we will mention the IP address which is 192.168.1.61. Just say show DBs and we are connected to the remote server. So this is how we connect to the remote server. Although we have not enabled the authentication wherein you can create a user ID, admin user ID or application user, and then you can connect remotely same way, but you will have to give the user ID and the password. I hope this is going to help and thanks for watching. Welcome to MongoDB tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn what is journaling in MongoDB. So if we talk about the journal in simple English, it means a file which contains all the information of a transaction. The same stands true for the MongoDB journaling file as well. So it is a file which contains the binary transaction log, which can be used to bring the database up and running in case there is a catastrophic failure. So what happens in MongoDB database whenever there is a transaction happening, the transaction is first returned to the journal file and then it is saved to the database files. If we talk about which version it was enabled by default, so by default from 2.0 onwards it has been enabled. So as of now, it is 4.4 or 4.41, I believe. So if we talk about where they are located, so journal files are by default located into DB path, and they are pre-located. They are pre-allocated. So this is the flow of the data which is being returned to journal and the data files. Whenever there is an application which is interfacing the MongoD, first of all, it will be intercepted by MongoD. Then MongoD will accept those transactions, and those transactions are first returned to journal file, and then it is returned to the data files. That all because of the transactions which are first returned to the journal and then to the data files. If we talk about the journaling and the storage engine, so Wired Tiger is the default storage engine from 3.2 onwards. So whenever there is a checkpointing happening, it provides a consistent view of the database on the disk. So let's say there is a transaction happening and the checkpoint happened at the same time. Then what this checkpoint will do, this will flush all the data from the journal to the data files. What if the checkpoint has not happened? Then all the transactions which are recorded in the journal and during the recovery process, first of all, the data file will be checked what is the last checkpointing ID, and what are the transactions have happened after that. So those transactions are recorded in the journal file, and then during the restoration, automatic restoration or recovery of the data file transaction, then it picks up the information from the journal file. It will check the old last checkpoint and the new one which is supposed to happen, then that applies to the journal file, and then it applies the journal file since the last checkpoint. The journaling process, how does it happen? So by default, the Wired Tiger creates one journal record for each client initiated write operation. So there will be a one file which will be used for client initiated write operation. Then Wired Tiger, it syncs the buffer journal records to the disk in any of two kind of scenario. So every 10 seconds or 100 milliseconds, it creates a new journal file, or when the size has shot like 100 MB is crossed, then it is going to create a new journal file. So what is the location of the journal file? The location of the journal file is db path journal wired tiger log dot the sequence number. I think it is starting from 9 times 0, and then it starts 1. What is the content of the journal records? Say a record per client is initiated when there is a write operation happening. So a single journal record will be created, and it will have all the update operations, like what all data has got changed in the database and what it is supposed to do. And along with that, if there is an indexing already available, then it maintains the information about that. And each record has a unique identifier, and the minimum size of the journal record file is 128 bytes. And by default, it uses the compression algorithm, which is snappy compression for compressing the journaling data. So this slide talks about the journal file size limits. So a single journal file cannot go beyond 100 MB. Once it is reached, then it creates a new one. And Wired Tiger automatically removes the old journal files if it has already returned to the data file due to the checkpoint which has already happened. Then it is going to remove that. So if you wanted to check the complete status of your database, you just go from the mongo command shall you just initiate db.server status. The wired Tiger storage engine does not require journaling to guarantee a consistent state after a crash. That we have to just make a note of. The database will be restored to the last consistent checkpoint during recovery. This is database by design, and then it is going to apply the journal logs which have those informations recorded since the last checkpoint. If MongoDB exits unexpectedly in between checkpoints, then journaling is required to recover write that occurred after the checkpoint. And now let's proceed with the demo. It's a very small demo. This is my Mongo shell. Let me exit out of this slide and show. And we have two things only. One is finding the status of the journal file, and another is so if you say simply I'm on Mongo shell, just say Mongo, and I'm logged in. db.server status, you can see the complete status of your MongoDB. So it has all the informations recorded, all the checkpoint and other informations over here. So we are not going to discuss anything about this, but what we are going to do is we'll go to C drive. We'll go to C drive, then program files, then MongoDB server -4.4, and then we have something called as data. In data, as we discussed, like journal files by default will be stored in this, and this is the default storage engine from 3.2 onwards, which is wired Tiger. And if it is enterprise server, so it will be in memory storage engine. So you can see that these are the logs which has been created so far. All of them, I believe it has reached up to 100 MB. So anything which has reached to under 100 MB, a new file will be allocated. So you can see there are, I think, 8 zeros, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or I think 9 or 10 zeros. Then the sequence starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9. So you are not supposed to make any changes to this. MongoDB will automatically manage these files. So whenever uh, uh, this information or the checkpoint has happened, then the information which is already available in journal file, there will be returned to the data files, and there will be a consistent view. So this way it works. I hope this is going to help, and thanks for watching.